Hello friends, today we are going to make some homemade mixes. I have a total of 4 mixes that I want to show you. I'm going to show you 2 this week and then 2 next week. This week we are going to do cornbread mix and muffin mix. And then next week will be a brownie mix and a pancake mix. So I hope you enjoy. All right, so first up is the cornbread dry mix. So first you're going to need 4 cups of flour. Then 4 cups of cornmeal. It's your choice if you want to use fine ground or coarse ground, whatever you guys like. You can even use white cornmeal if that's your thing. Oops. Okay. You're going to need dry milk, powdered milk. It's going to be 2 cups of powdered milk. Yes, dear. And more chips. Oh my, can you hold on a second? Mommy's doing something. You're going to climb on my stuff, huh? That's wonderful. Okay, the next you're going to need 1 cup of sugar. I actually like to put, we like our cornbread a little more sweet. So I do between 1.5 to 2 cups of sugar in my mix.
Mommy.
Yes, my dear.
Sugar.
Sugar, yes, we need sugar. Yeah. Now you can, nope, let go, thank you. You can sweeten this. If you don't want to add more sugar to the recipe, you can sweeten this by adding honey to the batter when you go to actually make it. The choice is yours. Okay, but you can't sit on that when I'm trying to do something. 1/2 cup of baking soda. You sit, yes. You're comfortable? Well, that's great. I'm glad you're comfortable. Yep. What? Is there a cow on my apron? Okay. That's wonderful. And 2 teaspoons of salt. Yes, baby, but you're going to have to let go so I can move. And now you're going to sift all this together. So now that your dry mix has been thoroughly incorporated, you can take this and store it in an airtight container and it will last, I'm going to say, at least 6 months. We've used ours and had it for longer. So it's kind of up to you, but I can say at least 6 months. Now, what I like to do is I actually, on my jars, I will put just a label of how to make the, in this case, the cornbread, with all of the wet ingredients that you're going to need. So for this, to make this cornbread, you need 1 1/4 cup of the dry mix itself, 1 egg, 1/2 a cup of water, 2 tablespoons of oil, and then if you want to add honey to it, you can. Just know that if you add honey to it when you bake it, depending on how much honey you've added, it might make it a little darker cornbread than it would be if you left out the honey. So to make this, you are going to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Mix everything together, make it a really good batter, and then pour it into a well-greased pan. And especially if you're using cast iron, use a lot of butter to coat your pan with. And then you bake this for anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes. Basically, you're just waiting until the inside is done. So there is your cornbread mix. All right, now on to the muffin mix. Now, I'm only going to give you a half batch recipe. A full batch will fill this entire container. I don't need it completely full, so that's why I'm only doing half a batch today. So first things first, you need 4 cups of flour. 'If you want, you can use wheat flour in this as well. I would do a 2-and-2 ratio, 2 cups white flour, 2 cups wheat flour, but the choice is yours. Okay, so 4 cups flour, 1.5 cup of sugar. One tablespoon of baking powder. One teaspoon of salt. Now, the next 2 are optional, but I like to use them. 1 teaspoon of nutmeg and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now you're going to mix this up really well until everything's incorporated. Now again, this is just a half batch recipe, but once it's all mixed, store it in an airtight container, and I would give it at least a 6-month shelf life, if not longer. We usually go through it a little bit more quickly than the others, so I don't think I've ever even had it sit on the shelf for 6 months. If you had watched YouTube recently, you saw me make some muffins. This was the mix that I used. Right, to make the actual muffins, 2 3/4 cup of the mix, 1 cup of milk, 2 eggs, a 1/2 cup of melted butter, or a 1/2 cup of oil. You choose. Then you can make it just as is, and they taste wonderful. Or if you want, you can also add in maybe blueberries or applesauce, some pumpkin for pumpkin muffins, raspberries, whatever, chocolate chips even. It's kind of up to you how you want to do that. But this is just the general base mix. And like I said, it does taste good even without any additional things added to it. You're going to heat your oven to 350 degrees. Mix everything together. Put them in muffin tins, well-greased muffin tins, and bake for 18 to 20 minutes and enjoy. I like to make a triple batch of this, and then what I do is I portion them out and I stick them in the freezer, and then I pull them out the night before we're going to have them for breakfast and just leave them on the counter to thaw out, and they do wonderfully. Some people like warm muffins. You can always warm them up if you want. But yeah, that's about it. I'll give you the instructions one more time to make the dry mix for each, the cornbread and the muffins. Now the cornbread we call Juju cornbread. Every one of my kids has something that they know how to make. Currently, Evie's is peanut butter and jelly. That's all right. Timothy's, we call him Juju sometimes, his is this cornbread mix. And so it's kind of his recipe. So for the Juju cornbread mix, it is 4 cups of flour, 2 cups, try that one again, 4 cups of flour, 4 cups of cornmeal. And again, you can use the more coarse ground or you can use the fine ground. We prefer the fine ground. 2 cups of powdered milk. You can use either goat or cow, either one. 1 cup of sugar. Again, if you like your cornbread a little more sweeter, you can do 1 to 1.5, however you'd like to do it. A 1/2 cup of baking soda and 2 teaspoons of salt. To make the cornbread itself, you want 1 1/4 cup of the dry mix, 1 egg, 1/2 cup water, 2 tablespoons of oil, and you can add honey to it at this point also if you want. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees, mix everything together, and bake for 12 to 15 minutes. Remember, if you're using a cast iron, really butter that baby up because it's going to help your cornbread come out a lot smoother. Also, remember, if you are using honey in your batter, it might turn, when you bake it, it might turn your batter a little darker. So just be mindful of that. Now for the dry muffin mix. I'm going to give you the recipe that we did was only half a batch. So I'm going to give you that recipe. If you want to make more, if you need your full canister done, go ahead, double the batch. So it's 4 cups of flour, 1.5 cup of sugar, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and then optional are nutmeg and cinnamon, and it's 1 teaspoon of each of those. Again, if you make hi baby. If you make the muffins just as is with the mix, they taste great. You have the option to add things in as you see fit. To make the muffins, you need 2 3/4 cup of mix, 1 cup of milk, 2 eggs, a 1/2 cup. You're going to have to wait until I'm done, young lady. A 1/2 cup of melted butter or a 1/2 cup of oil, and then your add-ins. Now, the dry mix and how you make them are two totally separate things. You will always, no matter how much of the mix you have made, you will always use the same amount to make everything together. Now you can double that on your own, but I just don't want you thinking that I've halved how to make that part as well. That stays straight across the board. Heat your oven to 350 degrees, mix everything together, put it into some well-greased muffin cups, and bake for 18 to 20 minutes or until the center is done. I hope you enjoy these quick mixes as much as our family does. See you next week.